So why this talk? Last year, I started to see posters pop up around campus, inviting me and others to join with a local group of students to fight for a socialist future. Truth in advertising, for me at least, it was a non-starter because I'm old enough and gray enough to remember the socialist past, the sort where countries built walls not to keep other people out, but to keep their own people in. What I've learned from my students, you listening, right, that Brezhnev and Boudica, Stalin and Seneca, Mao and Moses are all equally distant figures, ones with little resonance or relevance to their or your lives. Nor do most students think much about any actual socialist presence. So with that in mind, I'm really pleased to be able to introduce to you tonight's speaker, who is, to coin the phrase that my daughters love, relatable. Jinhye Jo is a North Korean refugee who founded NKinUSA, an organization which tries to rescue other North Korean refugees from China and Southeast Asia. NKinUSA offers extensive resettlement support for those who make it to the United States. It also raises awareness of North Korea's human rights record. She's here tonight not just to talk about her own family's harrowing story about escaping from North Korea, but also about her work with other North Korean defectors and what she's learned from those other North Korean defectors. I've been ferrying Washington Forum speakers to and from the Columbus airport for a decade now. This morning's ride with Esther was unlike any other I'd had in the past, not least since no other previous speaker has ever spoken about what it's like to be tortured in North Korean and Chinese prisons. Put another way, most Washington Forum speakers have been academics, policymakers, or journalists. And most of them have written and argued about what constitutes freedom or justice and how one policy or another might maximize freedom or justice. Tonight's speaker is the first Washington Forum speaker who has some experience actually helping others and herself make the dangerous journey to freedom. Jinhye Jo visits us tonight as a guest of the George Washington Forum on American Ideas, Politics, and Institutions. The Washington Forum operates thanks to private donations, and I'm happy to be able to say that tonight's talk is underwritten by generous donations of OU alumni and staff, and by a grant from the Charles Koch Foundation. And I want to thank them for helping to bring Ms. Jo to campus tonight. So I hope you'll join with me in welcoming Esther to talk about North Korea, a defector's perspective. But I'll just say one last thing. As you walked in the door, you'll have seen to your left a table, and it has what may look like to you trinkets on them. Esther asked me. We sometimes, if people have books, we say, yeah, sure, we'll get little professor to hawk your books for you. Try to put a little extra money in your pocket besides the honorarium. Esther has those out there, and I gather they're $3 a piece, and they're not a dime of it goes into Esther's own pocket. Every bit of it goes to the work of actually rescuing North Korean defectors who've made it into China. It costs around $3,000 to buy one person out of China if you're doing that. So if you got one on the way in, that's great. If you just sort of, Brian or I will be in the back. Just $3 on the way out. That'd be cool. And if you want to talk to her about how you can help, you can do that afterwards. But join with me tonight in welcoming Jinhye Jo here to Ohio University.
Thank you so much. And I bring my paper for the speech, but in the hotel I felt the coffee, so it's all gone. The America is good because I have cell phone, can read it, so I think it's good. First, I want to thank you for Robert, professor, invite me a beautiful place in Ohio University, and thank you so much make it happen like beautiful tonight. And I'm honored to be here to meet with everyone. And thank you so much coming and try to listening and try to know about the North Korea issue. And my English name is Esther, and my Korean name is Jinhye. Actually, when I got citizenship, I changed the English name. First, my pastor made my name in English is Sarah. But when I read the Bible, I like the Esther story. So I want to use the Esther, but my mom already used that name. So I was thinking and then sneak out way and then talked with her, tried to change name, but she said, no, I like Esther. However, because I can speak English better than her, so I get the citizenship first. So when I get apply paperwork, I just writing Esther, so I get it. And my mom was mad with me, but I explained to her, I said, Mom, this is the, what I said? Oh, thank you. So I have 2 mics. Okay, can you hear better? I think it's same. However, that's how I got the English name. So if you can pronounce in Korean name, you can call me Jinhye, or my best friends, they call me Jinjin. They say that's easy way and cute way. However, I know a lot of people will see North Korean Defector first time, and I want to say that we all look same, Asian face. But when I come to America, when I see the Americans in the street walking around with me, I was really scary. So when I see the Americans, almost 3 months, I think, I cannot speak or I cannot watch them, I cannot walking with them together. So one of my friends said, why you scared of me like that? I'm not gonna eating you or anything. But when I grew up in North Korea, after we born, and when we start talking about father, mother, and they start teaching us about how bad is America, how bad is South Korea, their enemy with us. Always they teaching like that. So when I was come to Washington, D.C., in front of White House, we have some special meeting. And then there had one of lady called Susan Shorty. She's a 48 years old American lady, and her husband and her son and all her friends, just two Americans. And they don't have any related with the North Korean defectors, but they cry for us and they are fighting for us. They try to make our boys to let the world know. And she do a lot of things, and then she make a lot of fundraising and rescue the North Korean defectors, save the kids. So I was thinking, why? Because I cannot find any reason why she doing that to us. And then I, little by little, learned a lot, and I found out I have to do something too. I'm the North Korean defector, and I know what kind of help I needed in China or in North Korea. That's how I started a nonprofit organization called North Korea in the USA. So because of this name, all the time when we send the fundraising to the South Korea or China, the bank always holding like a 1 week, 2 week, because have North Korean words in it. However, I do the nonprofit organization for 7 years almost, and I'm 32 years old, live in America for 11 years, right? Almost 11 years. And lots of people asking, what do you think about America? I say, I think America is heaven to me, and I'm really happy to hear. And a lot of people asking, when was in your life was happiness? I say today, because past my 10 years in North Korea, always hunger, suffering, or scary, or just for all the bad memory in North Korea. And after run out to the China, in China I have to hide in all the times, and I cannot play with any kids because if little bit have argue, and they will talk to their parents, the parents will report us, and then we will send back North Korea. Maybe we'll die. So I cannot go out play with them. And because I don't have citizenship in China and North Korean, so I don't have any chance to go into normal school. So back into my country stories. In North Korea, 1990 started a bad situation. Before that was better than South Korea. Not right now the South Korea, in back like 30 years ago. So we had a fish or food or rice. We never worry about the food back in my mom's age time when she was born and she grew up. But 1990 start, we don't know the reason in that time, but the government started to stop all the vegetable provider or oil, salt, garlic, potato, cabbage, everything we get from the government by counting by persons, the meal each day, how many meals they eat and how much they needed to eat. There's something like counting that and give us the food. But it was stopped everything. And 1994, after Kim Il-sung died, and then even the rice was stopped. 2 weeks one time we get paid and get the rice from the government and was stopped. So one day my mom was going to a place called the Baekupso. That place is the people waiting for the rice from the government. So she went to there. My father had to work. In North Korea, if the father don't work more than 2 days, and they will get the warning, and more than 4 days, then the government come catch him and then put in the camp for making him to working in there 2-3 months and then can come home. So my father had to work without pay anything. And my grandma was 70 years old. She's the only person can take care of the granddaughters, grandkids. So she was doing the farmer work, tried to make some more food to us and then take care of us. And my sister and myself have to go to school, and I was in the kindergarten, and my sister was in the school. And my mom's job was a singer. When she was even 5 years old, she was started singing and dancing and played the basketball. So she was famous in that town. And my father working in the stone miner in Hamgyong province, we call the Musan, the city name. It's really close by Chinese border. However, he was famous in his job. Everybody know who is the Jo Mun-hak, and he was get people respect him and really nice to him. But same situation, same as another people, we don't have rice to eat and we have to get hunger. First time I steal something is 7 years old in the kindergarten. Because for 3 days I didn't eat anything in the home and I went to kindergarten. And I was sitting there because I'm hungry. I was always asleep, and teacher asked me to stand up and then go back and then doing the manse. Manse means raise hand and like that, and standing there like 2 hours until the class is finished. However, I use that one to my boyfriend. When he do something wrong, I ask him manse, and he doing like that and standing in there. However, first time when I see the food, it's lunchtime. Kindergarten, they provide the lunch for the kids, and the school is not. So when I see the food, I was start remember my sister, because 3 days she didn't eat anything, but she have to go to school. If she stopped going to school, teacher will send the kids to our house to take her to the school, and even give her warning she still don't go to school, then she will call all the kids in the school, like more than 1,000 kids sitting in the park, and then she will ask my sister stand up front of them and then make the kids point to her and then say how bad is it, her mind is a problem, something will be punished to her. So she have to even die, the kids have to go to school. That's the Korean situation that time. However, so I steal one of the meal for another kid's meal, and I put in the plastic bag, and then I run to the home, and then put the hot water and boil it, that rice in like 1 hour, boil it, and looks like porridge or soup. And I waited my sister to come home, and we was shared. And next day start, we cannot walk anymore because that's 4 days already. So we just to give up everything, whatever gonna happen, we just stay home. So we sleep home, almost we gonna die. And then my mother was just come home, and she said, sorry for that. We was waiting, lying on the building and waiting for the government give us the rice. And then a lot of people pass out in there because even they don't have food to eat. And then she said that she saw another kids died in the street because of the hungry. So after she saw that, and she gets scary, so she went to a friend's house, borrowed some rice, and then come to the home. However, after this issue, and my father and my mother deciding to move back to the countryside, because if in the countryside you can go to the mountain, find some grass or wood bark, you can find something to feed us. So he begging the company, and then they give him the approval. So we went to countryside. First year when we go to countryside, the city girls going to the countryside is really difficult. And then my grandma, she know what kind of vegetable can eat, what kind of wood can eat. So first year when I come to America, walking around with my friends, always say, oh, this is delicious, how to cook something like that. And they was watching me like a weird, and they say, you can eat this one, are you human? They say like that, but for me, was the food. However, the 소나무, I don't know how to say, the four season, the green color tree. It's in the park, I think I saw it there too. First year, I went to mountain and start to make bark to out from the tree. The outside bark we throw away, and inside the really little bit smooth parts bark we took home and boiled it 3 days and 4 days, and then we can eat that one. And then we start to make a farmer, but I don't know why the weather is not matching. All the time too cold or too hot. Or if weather good, then so much bug, so the farmer already cannot get anything from the farmer. And then last year, the happen is the pig in the mountain, I don't know how to call that. The pig was coming into the farmer and the people's house and just to destroy everything. So we didn't find anything. Last moment, my father said, for survive, I have to do something. North Korean Defector, normally we don't like beef much because we don't have chance to eat the beef in North Korea. So my father went to government farmer and he steal one of the small cow just to steal it from the government. And then he hiding that in the mountain and kill that and make a meat and bring it home. And we start to boil it. That cow, they say, they born like 2 years ago. So it's kind of like a big one. We ate that for 2 months. Even the bone or skin, we eat everything. After we eat the meat and not enough to eat anything, so we start to boil the bone for 3 days, 4 days, and start to get soft, and then we ate that one too. And then my father said, I think last chance to survive, I think I have to go China. So he just, without anything ready, he just jump in the river and cross the border, going to the China, and then find the relative or friends in China, and they start to help us. So he bring little oil, bean paste, and then rice. When he go to China, take 1 month, come back to 1 month, because by walking in this mountain, so it take time. So my sister and I can do is going to river, bring the water to home, and then start find something, the dry wood to house warm up, and then find the grass or wood bark. We have to try to survive until father come back. Few times, my father went to China, bring the food, but on the way, the police, we call the 안전부 in that time. Right now, they call it a little bit different. Same as police in America. They catch my father and said, you are the party members and you are famous in the city and you're working really good in the company and we don't understand why you did this. However, they took my father into prison. 3 days later, Kim Jong-il said, if someone continue going to China, try to kill 1 or 2 persons and then make people too scary about it and then let them stop to going to China. After Kim Jong-il said, the government people thinking, and they know my father because of my mother, and he was famous. Normally, just to say his last name, everybody know who is he. So they deciding kill my father, then everybody gonna know about the story and get scary about it, and they will stop to going to China. However, they asked my father to sign one of the paper. When he read it, in there said, first, he going to the church in China. Second one is he watched the internet. And third one is he meeting with South Koreans. So he never done that. He just meeting a Chinese man and just brought the food, and he never have chance to go internet or churches. However, my father said no, and they start to torture my father. That moment, my mother was pregnant only 3 months and was with him in the prison. So my father know every day by day is dangerous to us because we was already waiting 2 months for they come home to bring the rice, and they didn't come home and they in the prison. And my mother and my father, if both of them died in there, I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, and my sister 6 years old, and then my brother was 5 years old, and my grandma 76 years old. So he think we're gonna be die for hunger. So he just say, if I agree with you guys, whatever you say, I will sign the paper. Please let my wife go home. That's only he asked him. However, my mom was come home first. When she come home, her situation is really, really bad. She cannot use her hands at all, and she cannot use her leg for 2 months because she was pregnant, so they know if we beat her by body, then she's gonna lose the baby. So they asked my mother to kneel down to sit there. So after she's sitting like that, they put the wood, big wood on behind her here, and then make her to sitting on. And then they will step on her knees by their foot. And then they ask my mother put hands down like this, and then they step on that for 10 minutes. Every day they do that to my mother. So she cannot use hands and the legs, so only one day can walking to home. The distance is not that far away, but she was walking 5 days to come home. However, after she come home, 5 more months later, we got the letter from the government say that my father tried to escape from the transportation from the place what my father was stay in another prison. On the way, he tried to escape, so we shooting him to death. That's the letter said. And then my mother said, I cannot believe that because my husband, for save their kids, he can kill the cow, steal it from the government, and he know the government found out gonna kill him, but he keep doing that because he wanna save the kids. And because for save me and the kids, he said everything is he did it, even he did it before. I don't believe this one, and she keep continue asking the government, they don't care. They say if you keep have a question about it, then whole your family gonna be danger. So she was to stop the question and then stay home. She got the shocking about that, about my father's news. So she started have a pain and she had baby in the home. The baby brother born is only 8 months, and then he was born, and myself and my grandma was helped her to get the baby. Because in North Korea, we don't have any system called the 911, somebody can come and pick her to the hospital. We don't have that kind of. And then the phone, even not working in that time, we don't have any phone. We never see the phone kind of stuff. And then only way is to ask somebody to help to go to the hospital, but North Korea, the hospital situation is really bad. They don't have any medicine in the hospital. If you want to get prescription from doctor, you have to pay something to doctor and then can get the prescription. And you go to see the market, black market outside, you have to buy medicine by yourself. So no points to go to the hospital. However, the baby is born, and my mother already 1 month, she didn't eat anything, only can drink the water because no food. So the baby is born, and I didn't know why my grandma doing that to my baby brother, but she make a baby to face down to the floor, and she keep like that, and then put some blanket on him. 4 hours, almost 4 hours like that, and baby started crying little by little, and keep crying, and my grandma was crying next to him, and my mother was wake up, and then she started crying, and she asked my grandma, Mother, please give me my son. Doesn't matter in the future how he die, I don't want to kill him in my hands. Please let me have son. She was keep crying and ask my grandma. So, however, I go there to pick up the baby, and I give it to my mother, and she asked me to bring the warm water, take shower for the baby. The baby just so small like this and don't have any meat on his body. So I helped my mother wash the baby and give it to my mom, and she tried to feed him, but because she didn't eat any food, so even the milk don't have it, so the kids keep crying. However, my sister was 16 years old in that time. I know here today lots lady maybe same age, around 16, 17. My sister, when she was 17, she was really short, but she was the only person active in the house can looking for food. So she went to the city to try to find some food. And she asked me, Jin, I will come back tomorrow night, even midnight, and 1 o'clock I will come home. So please keep the water warm and then ready for cooking and then wait for me. I will come back home tomorrow. But she didn't come back home. So my mother had baby 7 days later. She was walking for 2 days to the city and tried to find my sister, and she didn't find it. And she crossed the border to the China and keep looking for my sister, and she didn't find it. And later, months later, we got the news from somebody say that they saw my sister was crossed the border with someone to China looking for food. And in China, I don't know exactly the numbers, but they say that 60% is men, 40% is women. They're born in China because they really worry about continue use their last name, so they like to have a boy in the house. And Chinese government right now is not, but in that time, they only allowing 1 kid. So the men, if don't have enough money or something wrong, then they cannot marry. So they have to find a woman somewhere. So a lot of people pay the money to buy the women in the border in North Korea area. So my sister was sold by a trafficking ring somewhere in China, and she not able to come back home until today. I'm praying for her and waiting for her and try to find her information, but I cannot find her. However, we lost our sister like that. We lost my father, and my mother almost to get mental issue because so much things going on she cannot handle by herself. However, after she come home, she bring the one of a pack of the dry milk and then rice, and then cook the rice. And I asked her, why mom we have a cooked rice? And she said, when I open the door coming inside, and I will show you guys will die for hunger. So I tried to come in and try to feed you. That's why I bring a little bit, cook the rice. However, she looking for my sister gone for 2 months. And then by myself, take care of the baby because I'm scared to give my grandma, if she have chance, maybe she gonna kill my brother. So I was keep him with me all the times. And I going to the people's house asking them to little bit food to baby or feeding him the milk. And everybody that time, not easy, so nobody gonna help me. And then they know my father was killed by government, so nobody going to be help us. So 2 months later, the baby think I'm his mother because always, even drink some hot water, when he little bit happy, he was smiling at me and tried to playing with me. However, in the morning when I wake up, the baby was on my shoulder and not moving. And I asked my grandma, why baby brother is not moving? And she just took away, and she said, no, baby is asleep, so don't worry, you just keep going to sleep. So I sleep few more hours. When I wake up, baby was not with me. And my another brother and sister, they was crying. And they say the baby is died and grandma was taking him to burying. Almost 3 days I was crying, and even the hot water I cannot drink. And I really feel sorry to him because I'm so weak and I cannot take care of him. That's why he died. However, my mom come home, she saw the baby is not in there in the bed. And then she started sitting there and started crying, and they say bad words about the government. What kind of country is this? Why make people die for this easily? And she started to say that because she lost the husband in January, March she lost her daughter, and there was the May, and she lost the son. So it's understandable, but the government don't want to help anything or don't try to understand the people. They just start to torture my mother in front of us. And then they're beating her. Her head was open like this much and keep blooding, and they don't care. They just grab my mother and put her in the prison. And then they took all the food my mom bring from the China. They took with them everything. And I was thinking we will die in that moment. But 3 days later, my mom was run out from the prison, come back home with like that kind of situation, and she asked me to run away from here. We have to survive. We cannot die in here like that. So don't give up. Please help me. And they're walking somewhere with the brothers and sisters. But my grandma is too old. She cannot walk. So we have to let her stay home, and we have to go ourselves. And in the mountain, walking like 2 hours later, my mother was passed out, and then I cannot go without my grandma. So we come back home and try to take my grandma with us. But a few days later, she passed out next to me. I still remember, I still don't like to eat the certain food because that food make me remember my grandma. So my grandma always asked me, don't make a firework too overheat, and the potato gonna be dark and cannot eating. That means she really liked the potato and she tried to eat, she tried to cooking. But in the immunization, I think she just saw the potato is cooking in front of her. And next day, she just passed away with a smiling face, and she don't want to scare us. So she next to me, and she put her hands on the stomach like that, and then smiling, and then passed away. So we tried to cry, but don't have energy to cry even. So we just sitting there, cannot make any sound, just to cry like that quietly. And my baby brother was stabbed on my grandma, and he was holding grandma, and then, why you don't wake up? He's only 5 years old, and he keep asking, sister, Nuna, why my grandma is not moving? We don't have any hope in North Korea, so my mother and I went to village and asked people to bury my grandma in the mountain. And we met one of the person. He said, when your grandma left, she said, even I died, please bury me in this place because I want to see my kids alive and they're walking out this mountain. That's her last hope, they said. So we was make a final decision to leave North Korea. So my mother used 2 canes to walk, and I was carrying my 5-year-old brother, and another 6-year-old the sister, she can walk a little bit, so we're holding her hands, and we're walking all night from the house to another city. And on the way walking, I cannot walk anymore because my shoes, I don't have shoes, so my feet is bleeding. And I was only 10 years old, and carrying 5-year-old baby brother is too heavy for me. And my shoulder is red, and I don't have feeling, my hands like kind of like numb. So I'm kind of like give up my brother. So I asked my mother, Mom, I cannot walk like this anymore. So please do something, I cannot walk. So she asked one of the friends' house and asked them, please watch my son for 5 days. And I will come back 5 days later, bring some rice with you and then change it. And then I would take my son with me. They say, okay, and when we leave that, and then my brother was walking out, and then he holding our pants and say, Nuna, why youngest sister can go with you? Why I cannot? So we say that Mom and big sister will bring rice and then cooking for you. Youngest sister will bring candy and cookie for you. So just to wait 5 days, then sister will come back. That's how we live. But we cannot go back on time because the Tumen River have fled because of so much rain. And second reason is Kim Jong-il said, somebody leave North Korea, and the vote day for the Kim Jong-il became president. If somebody didn't come back on time to vote for that, then just to kill them all. So after that order, a lot of defector cannot go back, then they just hiding in China, and we are either cannot go back. So 2 months later, we working hard and find some money, and we brought some man and asked him to go pick up my baby brother. But when he there, he already died in the street. And that house, even they cannot save my brother because they don't have any food to feed him. So they give up my brother, and he died in the street. So in China for 10 years, when I see some little babies or brothers, make me remember my brother. When I see some fathers, they're holding their kids' hands and walking around and be happy, then I will make me sad to remember my father or grandma or sisters. So I was really depressed about it, and I lost my voice, and I cannot talk for 6 months. And I found the reason to start to go to church, and I started crying in the church. Little by little, I changed a little bit, and I get better and can talk and can smiling. And because of the church members find a way to do homeschool for us, so 10 of North Korean defectors live in the one small apartment for a whole year. We finished from first level to sixth level. We studied Chinese and Korean, and then studied the Bible, and then we tried to become missionary. But I found a way, if I go North Korea like this, not gonna change anything. So I don't want to go North Korea, so try to come to South Korea. We tried many times. First time when I sent back to the North Korea, I was thinking, I'm grown up enough, maybe I can survive in North Korea this time and try to stay there. But it's not easy. In North Korea, all the kids under the 18, the hairstyle have the same. If you are not study for singer or dancing, your hair have to cut like this. And then you cannot wearing to skinny clothes or, so a lot of things is controlled by government. And then when you're walking around, the woman cannot drive a bicycle, and that's the only way in North Korea, the transportation, and they're not allowing to do that. And if we have cigarette or something, have money, pay them, then they will say, okay. And second reason I cannot stay in the North Korea because I'm too tall and too beautiful. I don't know, you guys believe or not. In North Korea I am, because North Korean lady, they're all short because they didn't eat well, and the situation, walking a lot, working a lot, so they don't grow up. So they short like this, and their skin is almost dark because they're working outside a lot. When I live in China for a few years, go back there, my skin is like a milk for them. It's really white. Today I make up, that's why white. However, they just, in the street, when I'm walking around, they just catch me, put in the prison, no reason. Because I'm tall, because my skin color is white and looks nice. And then they put there for 3 days, 4 days later, they asked me to come out, where you came from. And I said, I live in China, and I sent back by the police, so I stayed in prison a few months, and right now I'm freedom, so I need to go work and do something for survive my family. So please let me go. They said, okay, and then let me go inside again. No food, no water, no restroom for 7 days. They don't care, and just put us in the room, small room, and then let us go in 7 days later. So I asked my mother, Mom, I think we cannot stay here. And then every moment when we're hungry, we start to remember all the food when we eat in China. Always say, oh, why I throw away that food? Why I didn't eat that food? Always remember that one. So I asked my mom, let's go. So she had money. I'm sorry to say this one, but a lot of people, maybe they already know, and the drug delivered, they do that kind of way. I saw in the movie. So North Korean Defector, we do same way. We make up money, if dollars, even you eat, they not scratch or getting bad. You can see still the money can use for. This American dollar is really good. But the Chinese money, if you didn't holding with the plastic bag really good, then you're gonna lost all the money. So she always make a 500 or 1,000 yuan in Chinese money. She make that like this kind of small size, make them like that and put on the plastic and tight with something, and then few times she tighten with that, and then she swallow it and keep it in the stomach. So when she send it back to the North Korea, she don't eat the food, she just drink water because she wanna holding that money in the stomach. And it's true, so I wanna say another way. The women's, after their marriage, they had kids, they keep it inside her vagina for safety. Because that's the only way they can make their kids to safe. Because in North Korea, they have government, they have rule, but everything is under the money. You have money, you pay that, you will get freedom. So my mother always keep the money safety, and then in the government, last minute, she gave them the money and asked them to please let my daughters survive here, and myself, if you can. If you can't, then just my daughter can get the freedom, that's fine too. And they say, do you have any chance to get another money from China? She said, yes. Then they will make a paperwork good and then let her get the freedom. That's how every time we had a freedom in North Korea, we come back China again. So I do like that 4 times. Last time, 2005, I working with the American pastor, Korean pastor. He live in the Seattle, Washington right now. He was missionary in China. He rescued 200 North Korean defectors to South Korea, and he feed more than 2,000 North Korean defectors in China. And he helped more than few thousand defectors inside. When they want to go back to North Korea, he give them money and feed them, give some food to them. However, I helped him to rescue North Korean defector through the Mongolia to the Korea. And I sent 2 groups. First group was prayed a lot, and they have 8 months old baby, and the lady and boys and 21 years old girl, which was really weak. But they was walking for all night to the through the desert and cross the fence and come to Mongolia, and then they come to South Korea. She was stay in my house last month for 1 month with me. And another group is really strong people, adult 5 people. They didn't pray, and then they was got caught, and they report to myself and my pastors and my whole family. So we stay in the Chinese prison by tortured for whole years. And the American pastor pay a lot of money to the government, and he get freedom, and he come back to America, and my family sent back to the North Korea. So I know in the North Korea, we are the biggest claim, so we're gonna be killed by government. So we almost wanna give up ourselves. But we found out something is not right because somebody keep looking for my family. So after I prayed and I said that it is me, and then they said, why you lied to the name and address everything? Because I want to survive, and they didn't say anything. Later, they said one of Mr. Park tried to save your family, tried to give you money. Do you know about him? And I was trying to remember, and I found out the pastor Yoon Yo-han, his last name is Yoon, but because of the Chinese government tried to catch him in China, so when he come to America, he changed his name and then go back again to be Park. So I remember that, I said yes. And then they started to feed us really good, give us the good food, bean paste, kimchi, and they was feed us like a good position people, not like a claim or like the almost gonna die people. However, after they give us that good situation and we know we're gonna survive, and my mother have a plus $1,000 in that time, so we gave them that money, and then right away, they just asked me to go home. So after came out from the prison, because I cannot walk, I was so weak, I'm only 38 kilograms, so I have to stay in the hospital for 1 month almost, and a little bit getting better, and we crossed the border again, come to the China. And we went to Beijing in China, and the UNHCR office, they know about our situation, and they tried to save us. And they working with the American government because of the Yoon Yo-han. So they're working together, accept my family to come into UNHCR. So we stayed there for 1 year and 2 months, and then we get the paperwork, and then directly from China to America, flying to here. So my biggest hope was if I go America, I want a red car. God, please, if you can give it to me, red car. And second one is I want to go city. I don't want to go countryside. And then I tell this about the going to the city type. I already explained to the UNHCR people. But when I come to America, I saw it's a large tree. And I said, okay, American government, same as North Korean government, they lied to us. They put us in the countryside. And I was mad. But after land, 2-3 hours later, we found out it's a Seattle, Washington, Tacoma. It's biggest city in America for number 5, I think they said. And then I said, oh, it's nice country. And then they didn't lie to us. However, so much things is different to us. Even the city in North Korea or China have tree, it's country, no trees, and that's city. But in America, it's not. The biggest one is difficult is for us is language barrier, and then we don't know how to use bank system and phone call. We don't know about this kind of stuff. First time when I make the bank and I use they started teaching us how to use a check, and I writing $35 check to somewhere payments. And that was only have $20 in my account, and I overused. 6 months later, they keep sending us the letter, and then we don't know the English, so we just pass every month, pass 6 months later, that's few $100s. And the phone bill, $40 plan, but I used more than 1,000 minutes, so that's almost a 400 bill was coming. And then I went to AT&T and explaining, I'm from North Korea, and I didn't know about the situation. That's why I overused, please help me. I don't have that much money to pay. And then they was listening to me, and they on the phone like hours with someone, and they say, okay, I will give you a discount. This time you only need to pay $40, and then welcome to America. I said, I love America. He said, me too. And then I said, how can I pay back this one? He said, after you become American citizen, pay the taxes, that's all you needed to do. I said, thank you. And I come home. So little by little, we try to understand English and start studying and find a job. The biggest job, the funny way is when I work is in the market. I do the cashier. When I go there, I cannot understand about the money. So the biggest problem is the penny and the 5 cents. They look similar size and same color. So I don't know which one is the change. So all the time, I just grab the box and then give the customer, find the coin, whatever you want. And then the manager was coming and then, Jin, don't make me headache, please, let me help you. And he stayed with me to cashier for a whole month. And then I understand the American dollars and the pennies, all different kind, and all the food name is. And then he said, you grew up in America. And then he was kind of like my father, and he every day driving me to home and driving me to work. And every day I go to school too. So actually, I don't have the school, when I was young, I don't go to school. So for me, the young age people is scary. I never talked with them. So for me, they are like weird people. They will do something with me. So I'm like nervous with talk to young generation. So however, when I go to university for the study, I was really worried about how can I deal with these kids, and I keep worrying about it. But when I go into ESL class, it's totally different situation. It's like 60 years old, 50 years old, 30 years old, all different kind of age and sitting there studying. I was like, okay, this is America, it's good. And I'm sitting there to try to study. The funny thing is, why American teacher? She speak English, and she says she's teaching English to me, which is I don't understand at all. I'm thinking something like the flying around me, wing, 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 something like that. I cannot catch any of the words. So that makes me sleepy. And I'm working for 10 hours, so of course I'm tired. So when I go sitting there, start studying and I'm asleep. So sleep like this way and then wake up like a little bit like that, and then the teacher and the kids are laughing on me because I was snoring. And one of the Spanish lady was come to me and she asked me something, but I cannot understand. And then she pointed to me, her stomach saying, she keeps saying that for 10 minutes. Can you understand what she's talking about? I found out 10 minutes later. She said, are you pregnant? That's why you keep sleep in the school? I was going to the next door and find one of the Korean lady, and I asked her, can you speak English? She said she can help me. So she come there, and I asked her, no, I just working 10 hours, and I'm only 21. I'm not ready to marry and have kids. And she said, I married 18. I had a baby in 18, so nothing is different. I said, oh, okay, America is so much different things going on. However, that's how step by step learn America. And then 4 years later, I found out the defector need a lot of assistance from the people. And then nobody knows what kind of stuff we needed. And they have some special office for resettlement department for the defector, but nobody can speak any Koreans. So all over the world, the refugee come to the America, but they had a freedom a little bit, and they know about the system already. But like North Korean defector, totally different case. So I found out we need help. We have to find our way to help each other. That's how I started the organization called the North Korean in the USA. And then little by little through that organization, help the defector resettlement. And then through their family or through the defector ask me help, and then we start to rescue the defector from the North Korea or China. So right now, these days, a lot of people said, oh, North Korea maybe changed. Kim Jong-un looks cool, and he don't lie to people. I think he's just like a normal human being. And they was excited with that. And then, of course, I'm North Korean, so I'm really happy if North Korea situation getting better and then get support from the outside world. Of course, I will be happy. But whatever we, through the UN, through the America or South Korea, doesn't matter what kind of help, we, through the government to government, do something to North Korea, maybe only 1 or 2% going to normal people, and then 99% going to be country, the government, and going to the military, and the military going to be more stronger. And they say that they're not gonna make a nuclear bomb. They say they will change, but I don't think so. And 80% of my friends of the North Korean defector, we say North Korea not gonna change, and they're not gonna give up the nuclear bomb. They already know how to make it. They have all the source. They don't have money, and they need the time to make it. So they just showing up the people say, we're not gonna make it, we're gonna give up, and please help us, support us. And then after they're ready, a few years later, they will start again. So we kind of like talking about that kind of stuff. However, I stand here today, I wanna talking about my life. Through my life, I want to everyone know about North Korea, what's going on. And time is limited, I cannot explain all, but I just wanna tell people about the North Korea life. And then if you can, in the language or your source or Facebook or whatever you can, please help the North Korean defector and then let the people know about North Korea and then help them. I don't know what kind of way they can get freedom, but I want to make more than 1,000 North Korean defector become like me, happiest person. That's why I'm here today. And then in the TV or in the newspaper or wherever, only talking about the funny Kim Jong-un and only talking about the nuclear bomb. Nobody talking about the human traffic. My sister is trafficked, and I rescued more than 100 to 200 North Korean defector. They have 16-year-old girl. She was pregnant and forced by brokers. She take the medicine and then bleeding in house, and then they don't take her to the hospital. And then we saved her, rescued her. She's in the New York right now. She's going to college right now and working full-time job, and she tried to save their family. So I want people more focus on the human rights. So if you want to more understand, more know about North Korean issue, you can email our organization or can ask a professor. I will leave my email and phone number. You can ask. I will send more detailed information. And let's working together to save another thousands North Korean defector like me. Thank you so much. I remember, huh? Okay, yeah. So if you have a question, you can ask, because I know my English is Konglish, so lots of things you maybe didn't understand. So if you want to ask, you can ask. No questions?
So we as students, how can we raise awareness to the situation, and like what can we do in our situation right now to help you in your goal?
First, the outside have $3 stuff you can buy from me. Joking. I bring that one is when I go to South Korea, they donation to me the stuff. So I bring with me because I want everybody remember about the North Korean defector. So just to take one for each with you. And then for defectors, we have many different ways to can support. First, the North Korean defector kids, when they're going to the college or school, they don't know how to find the grants or like get help from that kind. And the paperwork, they don't know how to writing. So they have a link called a link or NKinUSA, or they have a few another North Korean organization. To do that, you can apply a volunteer form and then can ask a detailed question. But for kids side, we need help make her to document to apply to the university, that kind. And then how they can find the ESA class. And then when they need ESL class, they don't have time to go to school because they're working full time. So sometimes through the Skype, one by one, need to make a schedule and then teach the English. That can help too. And then another one is I speak more than like 20 universities in America. The student, after I leave, they doing something little, another event to make a fundraising, $100, $200 a year. They make $3,000 and they are asking me and then rescue one of the defector yearly. So in the Harvard University, when I went there, first time there was 5 of them make that event and have some small group. In Korea, they call it dongari, and in English, maybe they say the same. However, right now there are more than 100 kids working together for North Korean human rights. So you can use this kind of activity to make people know about North Korea, because myself or my sisters, we can speak a little bit English and we can speak out and freely in the people, because I don't have any family left in North Korea. That's why I can do like this. But a lot of defectors, they want to say something, but because of the family, they cannot speak out. So they hiding their face, they change their name, and by words, they will give us some information, and we translate in English, and then we start to publish. And we are not familiar use the SNS or use email or Facebook to share this kind of information. So this kind of is help too. And America is more than 100,000 refugees coming in every year, but the defector, only the North Korean, not much. Since 2004, the George W. Bush, he passed the law, say accept the North Korean defector. That's how I'm come to America too. But we only 230 defector live in here, as like my situations. But through the South Korean citizens, they come here for study or find a job. That's more than 1,000 right now. So kind of like that kind of things we need help too. And directly help is in South Korea, the defector situation is not good too. So every year, November or December in Christmas, I will send them chocolate box or some t-shirts, like famous company t-shirts to the kids. And they wear that, oh, this is coming from America, and they show up from the friends. So they say that's really good to them. So pants or t-shirts, shoes, like Nike shoes, something that have name brand, we will send it to them. So that's kind of help too. And then through the defectors, their family, when they need help in North Korea, we send the medicine to China. Through the Chinese border, they can get the medicine. So we can think about that kind of way too. So many different kind of things can do it, but you know, you can email me or text me, then I can explain to more. Or you want to do interns, or you want to go to South Korea, do intern, or to teach teach the English to the kids. They have a lot of program in there, so you can find that kind of information too. Thank you.
I'm NKinUSA. I'm really interested, but thanks a lot for coming to our university. I grew up in South Korea, but it's outside. You talk about your life living in China, so I was wondering how you see China's role in opening up North Korea or in creating some positive changes to North Korean region. So I'm asking this question because personally I think if North Korea could make the kind of transition that China made in the 1980s and 1990s, that would be great. It's hard to see, but however, it's still a practical solution to that kind of closed authoritarian region. So that's why I was wondering how you see China's role in any sorts of changes to North Korea.
I don't know I understand right or not, but I'm thinking the Chinese government, not because they like North Korea or they try to support them or make a North Korea change or anything. Because the China worry about the support to North Korea even today, that means I think they worry about America to come into the North Korea too. Because in South Korea already helped by UN or America and be friends and they like that. If the America come into the North Korea, that's when I was in there, the policeman was telling me about it. So he said that if America come to North Korea, the big border, the big river, that's kind of like need a lot of money to protect from the Chinese government. So they say because of that kind of worries, though, they want to be North Korea, be separate by South Korea, and didn't get any support from the America or UN. That's how he said it. So I'm thinking the Chinese government, they have a lot of reason to protect North Korea and support them and not get unified with the South Korea. And then when I was in China, I was a kid, and I'm just a normal woman and tried to survive there, tried to not die or send back to the North Korea. So political stuff or military stuff or that kind of like a question, maybe I'm not understanding to answer that. So yeah, I think that's all I can say it. Yeah. No more questions?